Ariana Cole was 29 years old, sitting alone in a quiet hospital room late in the evening. The white fluorescent lights above her head were too bright. The room felt cold and empty. The silence felt heavy, like it was pressing down on her chest. For weeks, Ariana had not felt like herself. She was always dizzy. Sometimes the room would spin even when she was sitting still. Her hands shook when she tried to hold a glass of water. She felt sick to her stomach almost every day. Bruises appeared on her arms and legs without reason. She was tired all the time, so tired that even walking up the stairs felt like climbing a mountain. Her mother, Denise Cole, had told her it was just stress. "You work too much," Denise would say. "You don't sleep enough. You don't eat properly." Ariana believed her. After her divorce, she had moved back into her mother's house. It made sense at the time. She was heartbroken and exhausted. Denise had opened her arms and said, "Come home. I'll take care of you." And she did. She cooked every meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Warm soup, fresh bread, tea before bed. She would sit across from Ariana and watch her eat. "Finish it," she would say gently. "You need strength." Now in the hospital room, the doctor stood near the door. He looked serious, too serious. He closed the door quietly. Then he walked closer to Ariana's bed and lowered his voice. "Miss Cole," he said carefully, "the levels in your blood didn't come from food poisoning." Ariana gave a small, nervous laugh. "Then what? Bad luck." The doctor did not smile. "You've been ingesting small amounts of anticoagulant over time," he continued. She stared at him. The words sounded complicated and far away. "I don't understand," she said softly. The doctor hesitated. Then he leaned in slightly and whispered, "Rat poison." The word hit her like ice water. "Rat poison." Ariana blinked. "That's not possible," she said quickly. "I would know. I would taste it. It can be mixed in small amounts," the doctor explained gently. "Small doses over time can cause weakness, internal bleeding, dizziness. It builds up." Her heart started to beat faster. Her mouth went dry. "No," she whispered. "There must be a mistake." The doctor looked at her with concern. Then he asked a simple question. "Who prepares most of your meals?" The question broke something inside her. For a moment she couldn't breathe. Her mind filled with an image from that very morning. Her mother standing at the stove, slowly stirring a pot of soup, steam rising into the air. Denise turning to her with a soft smile. "I made your favorite," she had said. "You need to eat." Ariana remembered forcing herself to swallow each spoonful, even though she felt sick. She remembered her mother watching her closely. "Finish it," Denise had insisted. "All of it." Back in the hospital room, Ariana's hands began to shake. She had lived with her mother since the divorce. Denise had always been protective, loving, but also intense. She didn't like Ariana going out too much. She didn't like her ordering takeout. She insisted home-cooked meals were better, safer. "I know what's best for you," Denise always said. Ariana remembered how her mother would stand in the kitchen, arms crossed, waiting until her plate was empty. How she refused to let Ariana move into her own apartment again. "This is your home," Denise would say. "Why would you leave me?" The doctor was still watching her carefully. "Ariana," he said softly, "this isn't accidental." Her throat felt tight. Her chest hurt. "My mother would never," she whispered. But even as she said the words, her hands would not stop shaking. And for the first time, a small, terrifying question entered her mind. If not a stranger, then who? Ariana Cole is 29 years old. She works as a corporate compliance officer at a large company. Her job is to make sure rules are followed and no one breaks the law. She is smart, careful, and responsible. At work, people trust her judgment. But in her personal life, things are not so simple. Ariana was recently divorced from her husband, Marcus Hale. Their marriage lasted 3 years. In the beginning, they were happy. But slowly problems started. Marcus often said that Ariana's mother, Denise Cole, was too involved in their life. "Your mom calls too much," Marcus would say. "She decides everything. She treats you like a child." Ariana always defended her mother. "She just cares about me," Ariana would reply. "She sacrificed everything for me." And it was true that Denise had given her whole life to her daughter. Denise became a widow when Ariana was very young. After her husband died, She focused only on raising her child. She did not remarry. She did not build a social life. Her world became Ariana. Denise often reminded her of this. "After everything I did for you," she would say quietly when they argued. "Men always leave. I'm the only one who stays." Those words stayed in Ariana's heart. Growing up, Ariana and her mother were extremely close. They told each other everything. They ate together, watched TV together, and spent weekends together. At first, it felt like love and safety. But as Ariana grew older, that closeness started to feel tight. Denise did not like Ariana going out with friends too often. She would say those friends were not good enough. When Ariana started dating, Denise always found something wrong with the boyfriend. "He doesn't look responsible. He doesn't respect you. He's not right for you." Whenever Ariana talked about moving into her own apartment, Denise would cry. "Why are you leaving me?" she would whisper. "Am I not enough?" Ariana would feel guilty immediately. So she stayed. When she married Marcus, things became worse. Denise called every day. She visited without notice. She gave advice about their finances, their home, even their private problems. One night, Marcus found Ariana sitting on the bathroom floor after dinner at her mother's house. She looked pale and weak. He tried to joke, but his voice had worry in it. "Your mom's trying to keep you weak so you won't leave." Ariana was angry when he said that. She told him he was being disrespectful. She told him he did not understand her mother's love. But after many fights, the marriage ended. After the divorce, Ariana moved back into her mother's house. It felt easier, safer. Denise welcomed her warmly. "I told you," Denise said softly. "I'm the only one who stays." Since moving back, Denise has cooked every single meal. She insists on it. She says Ariana needs proper nutrition. She makes her tea, her breakfast, her dinner. She watches her eat. For the past 3 months, Ariana has been getting sick again. Dizzy, weak, bruising easily. The first doctors said it was stress from the divorce. Denise agreed strongly. "She works too hard," Denise told them. "She needs rest." Denise even suggested Ariana quit her job. She started organizing Ariana's medications and reminding her when to take them. Ariana felt confused and tired. Part of her believed her mother only wanted to help. Another part of her felt small, like a child again. Now everything feels uncertain. Her health is getting worse. Her independence is slipping away. And deep inside, a painful thought is growing. If her mother truly hurt her, then what does that say about love? Ariana is starting to realize something difficult. Her mother is terrified of being alone. And Ariana has always ignored the warning signs. Marcus tried to tell her, but she did not listen. Now it may be too late to pretend everything is normal. Hospital confirmation came the next morning. The toxicology report was clear. The doctor did not look confused anymore. He looked certain. "The results show ongoing ingestion," he said gently. "This was not an accident. It did not happen once. It has been happening in small amounts over time." Ariana felt cold all over. "Are you sure?" she asked. "Yes," the doctor replied. "The substance builds up slowly in the body. That's why your symptoms increased little by little." Her heart pounded loudly in her ears. Then the doctor asked the question again. "Has anyone had regular access to your food?" Ariana's throat tightened. She shook her head. "No." The lie came out quickly, almost automatically. But inside her mind, memories started playing one after another. Her mother refusing to order takeout. "Outside food is unhealthy," Denise would say. "I'll cook something fresh." Her mother throwing away leftovers that Ariana had not finished. "It's not good to reheat this," she would insist. Her mother standing in front of her while she ate. "Finish it," she would say softly. "Don't waste." Ariana's stomach twisted. Later that evening, Ariana returned home. The house smelled like herbs and vegetables. As soon as she opened the door, she heard the familiar sound of a spoon stirring inside a pot. Denise was in the kitchen. "There you are," her mother said warmly. "I made soup. It's almost ready." The pot was simmering on the stove. Steam rose into the air. Everything looked normal, safe. But Ariana stood still at the doorway and watched her mother's hands. Steady, calm, stirring slowly. Her chest felt tight. She walked closer. "Mom," she said quietly. Denise turned with a smile. Yes, sweetheart. Ariana swallowed hard. Did you ever put anything in my food? For a split second, Denise froze. It was small, almost invisible, but Ariana saw it. Then Denise laughed. Baby, what kind of question is that? She said lightly. Ariana forced herself to stay calm. The doctors found something in my blood. Denise waved her hand dismissively. Doctors exaggerate. They always think the worst. She stepped closer. You're sick because you don't rest. You don't listen to me. You're exhausted. Ariana felt her confidence slipping. Denise's eyes filled with tears suddenly. After everything I've done for you, she whispered. How could you even think that about me? Guilt hit Ariana like a wave. Maybe she was overthinking. Maybe she was being unfair. Denise pulled her into a hug. Her arms wrapped tightly around Ariana. Too tightly. You need me, Denise whispered into her ear. You know you do. Ariana felt small in her mother's arms. Weak, confused. But as Denise turned back to the stove, Ariana's eyes moved to the pot. The soup bubbled gently. Her hands were shaking again. While her mother reached for bowls, Ariana quietly opened a small container from her bag. When Denise turned to get bread from the cabinet, Ariana quickly scooped a small amount of soup into the container and closed it. Her heart raced. She slipped it back into her bag. Her mother handed her a bowl with a loving smile. Eat while it's hot, Denise said. Ariana stared at the spoon. This time, she would not just believe, she would know. And for the first time, she understood something clearly. If the truth was in that soup, she was about to find it. Private investigation became Ariana's only choice. The next morning, she mailed the small container of soup to an independent lab. She did not tell her mother. She paid extra for fast results. Her hands were shaking when she filled out the form. After that, she did something she had not done in months. She called Marcus. Her voice was quiet. Can we meet? There was a long pause on the phone. Then Marcus said, okay. They met at a small coffee shop. Ariana looked thinner than before. Marcus noticed immediately. You look pale, he said gently. Ariana told him everything. The hospital results. The soup. Her fear. Marcus listened carefully. He did not interrupt. Then he sighed. I tried to warn you, he said softly. Your mom isolated you during our marriage. Ariana looked down. She always needed to know where we were. She called during dinner. She showed up without asking. Marcus continued. And one night, I saw something. Ariana's heart skipped. What? I walked into the kitchen at her house, he said. She was crushing something with a spoon. When she saw me, she covered it quickly. I asked what it was. She said vitamins. Ariana felt sick. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. I did, Marcus replied gently. You said I was imagining things. The shame burned inside her chest. He had tried. She had chosen not to see. 2 days later, the lab results arrived. Ariana opened the email with trembling hands. The soup contained traces of blood-thinning compounds. Not enough to kill in one meal, but enough to harm slowly. Enough to build up over time. Her vision blurred. It was real. That evening, she faced her mother again. Mom, Ariana said firmly, placing the printed lab results on the table. The soup had blood thinners in it. Denise stared at the paper. Her face went blank. I don't know what that is, she said calmly. It's poison, Ariana replied. Denise's eyes flashed with anger. How dare you accuse me? Then her voice softened suddenly. Tears filled her eyes. I gave up my life for you, she cried. And this is how you repay me? Ariana stood still. Her heart was breaking, but she did not step back. Denise's tone changed again. It became cold. If you leave me, she said quietly, I will have nothing. Ariana felt a chill. You know what loneliness did to your father, Denise continued. You know how weak he became. The words were heavy with meaning. Blame, fear, guilt. Later that night, Ariana searched through her mother's desk while Denise was in the shower. She found insurance papers, a life insurance policy in her name. The beneficiary was Denise. Under reason it said, protection. Ariana's hands trembled as she held the papers. The next day, the house felt different. Denise locked the pantry. I don't want you touching spoiled food, she said. She began bringing Ariana meals directly to her room. Watching her more closely, asking questions if she didn't finish everything. Ariana pretended to eat. She hid food in napkins. She threw it away secretly in a trash can outside. She felt like a prisoner in her own home. But deep inside, she did not want her mother arrested. She did not want her punished. She wanted her mother to love her in a healthy way. Without control. Without poison. One evening, Ariana felt dizzy again. Worse than before. Her vision darkened. Her knees gave out. She collapsed on the kitchen floor. When she woke up, she was back in the hospital. The doctor looked serious. "You cannot continue like this," he said. "If exposure continues, you could suffer internal bleeding. It could become fatal." Fatal. The word echoed in her mind. As she lay in the hospital bed, Ariana finally stopped making excuses. This was not protection. This was not love. This was control. And if she did nothing, it would not stop. Ariana secretly recorded Denise. Her hands were shaking, but her mind was clear for the first time. She placed her phone on the kitchen counter and turned on the voice recorder. Then she took a deep breath. Her mother was washing dishes. "Mom," Ariana said calmly, "I need to tell you something." Denise looked up. "What is it, sweetheart?" Ariana forced herself to stay steady. "I'm moving out next week." The words hung in the air. For a moment, Denise did not move. Then the plate slipped slightly in her hands. "What?" she whispered. "I found an apartment," Ariana continued. "I'm leaving." Denise's face changed. Her calm expression broke. Her eyes filled with fear. "You can't leave," she said quickly. "You're not strong enough yet." "I'll be fine," Ariana replied softly. Denise shook her head. "No, you won't." Her breathing became heavy. She stepped closer. "You don't understand," Denise said. "After your divorce, you were falling apart. You couldn't sleep. You couldn't eat. You were anxious all the time." Ariana stayed quiet. Denise's voice cracked. "I couldn't lose you too." The words came out in a rush. "I only gave you small amounts," she whispered. Ariana's heart pounded, but she said nothing. "Just enough to make you weak," Denise continued. "Not enough to kill you. Never to kill you." Tears streamed down her face. "You were calmer when you were weak," she said. "You stayed home. You needed me. You didn't talk about leaving." Ariana felt like the floor had disappeared under her feet. "You researched it?" she asked quietly. Denise nodded slowly. "I looked up safe amounts. I was careful." She grabbed Ariana's hands. "I would never hurt you. I just wanted to protect you. I just wanted you close." The room felt silent and heavy. Then Ariana reached for her phone. She pressed a button. Denise's own voice filled the kitchen. "I only gave you small amounts, just enough to make you weak." Denise froze. Her face turned pale. "You recorded me?" she whispered. Ariana's eyes were full of tears, but her voice was steady. "Yes." Denise dropped into a chair. "You're my whole life," she said desperately. "I did it because I love you." Ariana felt her heart break completely. But she also felt something new. Strength. She looked at her mother and said the words clearly. "Love doesn't poison." Denise began to cry harder. She reached out, but Ariana stepped back. Ariana picked up her phone and dialed the police. When the officers arrived, they were calm and professional. Denise did not fight. She looked small and broken as they led her away. She kept looking at Ariana with disbelief. As the door closed behind them, Ariana stood alone in the quiet house. Her hands were shaking. Her heart was shattered. But the truth was finally clear. The confession was real. The illusion was gone. And for the first time in her life, Ariana chose herself. Legal aftermath came quickly. Denise was charged with attempted poisoning. The police investigation confirmed everything. The lab results, the recording, the insurance papers, all of it became evidence. In court, Denise did not deny what she had done. Her lawyer said she was not mentally stable. He said she was afraid of being alone and acted out of emotional desperation. Denise pleaded diminished mental state. The judge ordered psychiatric treatment instead of a long prison sentence. She would receive professional help and remain under supervision. When Ariana heard the decision, she felt many emotions at once. Sadness, relief, anger, grief. It was strange to see her mother sitting quietly in a courtroom, looking small and lost. But Ariana knew something important now. Love does not mean losing yourself. A few weeks later, Ariana moved into a small apartment across town. It was not fancy. The walls were plain. The kitchen was small. But it was hers. The first night, she sat on the floor with a simple meal and cried. Not because she was scared, but because she was free. She started therapy soon after. At first, it was hard to talk. She felt guilty for reporting her own mother. She felt like she had betrayed her. One day, she told her therapist, "Maybe I should have just stayed. Maybe I should have handled it quietly." The therapist looked at her kindly and said, "You didn't betray her. You protected yourself." Those words changed something inside Ariana. She slowly began reconnecting with old friends she had lost contact with. She apologized for disappearing during her marriage, and after the divorce. To her surprise, many of them welcomed her back warmly. "You seemed isolated," one friend admitted gently. "We were worried." Ariana started meeting them for coffee, for walks, for small dinners. She learned how to enjoy company again without fear or guilt. Trust did not return overnight. She was careful now. She paid attention to red flags. She listened to her instincts. One afternoon, she met Marcus for coffee. There was no anger between them anymore. Just quiet understanding. "I never hated your mom," Marcus told her honestly. "I was afraid of her." Ariana nodded slowly. "I know that now." They talked for a while. About growth. About mistakes. About how they both had changed. They did not get back together. Some things are not meant to return. But when they stood up to leave, Ariana looked at him and said, "Thank you for trying to protect me." Marcus smiled gently. "I just wanted you safe." As months passed, Ariana began to see love differently. She no longer believed love meant sacrifice at any cost. She no longer believed she had to stay small to keep someone close. She learned about boundaries, simple but powerful limits that protect the heart and mind. She learned that caring for someone does not mean controlling them. And most importantly, she learned that protecting herself was not selfish. It was necessary. Ariana cooks dinner alone in her apartment. It has been 1 year since everything happened. The kitchen is small but warm. Soft light fills the room. There is quiet music playing in the background. No one is watching her. No one is standing behind her. No one is telling her what to eat. She is making a simple meal. Rice, vegetables, grilled chicken. Nothing special. She moves slowly, carefully, but with confidence. She washes the vegetables. She cuts them. She adds salt and pepper. She tastes the sauce and adjusts it herself. When the food is ready, she places it on a plate and sits down at her small table. For a moment, she just looks at it. Then she takes a bite. She pauses. The food is not perfect. The rice is slightly overcooked. The sauce is a little salty. But she smiles softly. Not because the meal is perfect, but because it is hers. Her phone buzzes on the table. She looks at the screen. It is a message from her therapist. "How are you feeling about tomorrow's hearing?" Tomorrow is another court update about her mother's treatment progress. Ariana reads the message carefully. 1 year ago, she would have felt fear, guilt, confusion. Now she feels steady. She types back one word, strong. She puts her phone down and takes another bite. She still loves her mother. That has not disappeared. Love does not turn off like a light switch. But now she understands something important. Love does not mean surrender. Love does not mean pain. Love does not mean losing yourself to keep someone close. She survived betrayal. She survived the truth. And she chose herself. Ariana looks around her quiet apartment. It feels safe. It feels peaceful. For the first time in her life, she trusts her own choices. She trusted her mother's cooking once. Now she trusts her own hands. Hey besties, thanks for sticking around until the end. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button. See you next time.